Hey guys, thank you so much for coming to my channel. If you have been here before, thank you for coming back. And if this is your first time, thank you so much for stopping by. My name is Nicole and I am a schoolmaster. Today's topic, we're going to talk about sprint review and how to facilitate your sprint review. So what is a sprint review? A sprint review is actually one of the scrum ceremonies. There are 4 scrum ceremonies. You have your sprint planning, your daily stand-up, your sprint review, and your retrospective. So your sprint review actually happens on the last day of your sprint. So on the last day of your sprint, you're going to be having 2 meetings. You're going to have your sprint review, and after your sprint review, you're going to have your retrospective. But on today's topic, I want us to only focus on sprint review. I will actually do another video on how to facilitate your retrospective. So please do make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out on the video that's coming up on retrospective. What is the whole purpose or what is the goal of having a sprint review? The whole purpose of having your sprint review is for your entire development team to come together to pretty much inspect all the increment that has been delivered during the sprint. So they pretty much come together to go over everything that was accepted into the sprint, what has been removed, if anything was removed from the sprint, was anything added into the sprint, what was added into the sprint. So they just go over the overall status of the entire sprint. And also during your sprint review, there's another part of this the meeting that's called demo, right? So your development team will actually do a live demonstration of all the completed functionality, of everything that they were able to deliver, everything that they were able to achieve during that sprint. They're going to do a live demonstration to the business and then receive and get feedbacks from the business so they can make all those necessary changes that needs to be done. So the responsibility of a schoolmaster during your sprint review is you're going to be the one to schedule the meeting. And also, guys, it just depends on the team, right? Talk to your team. That's why it's always very, very good to have a team working agreement so you know who's doing what during the sprint review. I've actually worked in a team where I was the one that I put in the slide, like put together all the slide for the review. I've also worked in a team where my business analyst has been the one that put in all the slide that's going to be presented during the sprint review. So talk to your team and see who's doing what. So have that working agreement, who's going to be doing what during your sprint review, so everyone is aligned. So, but for the most part, you, the Scrum Master, are going to be the one to schedule the meeting, and you're going to also be the moderator of the meeting as well. Who are your participants during your sprint review? You want to make sure that you invite, obviously, you the Scrum Master is going to be part of the meeting. You want to definitely make sure that you invite your product owner. You want to make sure that you invite your entire development team members. And you definitely want to make sure that you invite the business. Again, verify with your product owner. If someone from the business needs to be in a review, who from the business is going to be coming. So you want to make sure that you send them the meeting invite. Also make sure that you find out who is doing the UAT, right? The UAT just stands for user acceptance testing. You want to make sure, or you want to know who's going to be reviewing the stories that your team is going to be demoing during the sprint review. So that way, after the meeting, you can follow up and make sure that you guys get signed off and then move those stories to done. So just find out who's doing the user acceptance testing, the UAT, so that way you can invite them to your sprint review meeting as well. So for a 2-week sprint, I actually usually schedule my sprint review for 1 hour. It has been very good amount of time, but 1 hour might not work for your team, right? So you want to definitely check with your team to see how long they've been doing their sprint review to make sure that you maintain that time box. 1 hour has been very good for me. So just double check with your team how long the sprint review has been lasting. So when you're scheduling that meeting, you want to make sure that they're having enough time for the review session. So what really happens before the sprint review? Before we actually go into the sprint review, what I normally do is I actually like to reach out to each and every one of my developers to pretty much get the overall status of the work they're currently doing, right? So I'll first of all log into Jira just to see all the story that we accepted into the sprint and the current statuses of each and every one of the story. So what I will do is I'll usually create like a slide, a PowerPoint slide, and just have three different columns. On the first column, I will write the story number. On the second column, I'm going to put it as the story description. And on the last column, I'm going to have it as the status of the story. So where it says story number, I'm going to list all the story that we accepted into the sprint. And then where it says the description of the story, I'm just going to have all the description under. And then on the last columns where it says the status, I'm just going to have all the statuses of each and every one of those stories, because we're going to be presenting this to the team when we get into the sprint review. And also, it depends on your team. I've actually worked in a team where my business analyst has been the one pretty much putting the slide together for our sprint review. So just communicate with your team. When you join the team, just find out who usually is responsible for putting in the slides for the sprint review. So you want to make sure that you work with that person so you guys are getting the correct statuses for each and every one of your story. And before you actually go into your sprint review meeting, you want to definitely communicate with your team. Communicate with your team to find out who's going to be doing demo during your sprint review. I've worked in a team where they've agreed that the developers will be the ones to do the demo. I've also worked in a team where they have agreed that the QA team are the responsible for doing the demo. So communicate with your team to see who is going to be doing the demo, and also who from QA team or who from the development team is going to be responsible for doing the demo, just so you have those names down, so that way when you get to your review, you know the people that you're going to be calling up to go ahead and do your demo. So let's say you actually get to your sprint review. What really happens, right? So you're the scrum master. You're going to be the one to kick off the meeting. Once everyone joins, I'm going to greet everyone. Hey guys, thank you so much for joining our sprint review. Today is the last day of my sprint. I will go over the agenda. So I like to actually go over the agenda of the meeting, just so everyone that's there have an understanding of what the meeting is about and pretty much what we're going to be doing during the meeting. Once I'm done going over the agenda, if it's me that's going to be presenting the slide that I put together, then I'll go ahead and share my screen and just go over the overall status of the current sprint that's ending. The overall status of what we accepted, what was, if anything was added into the sprint, if anything was removed from the sprint, and also the stories that they're going to be doing demo on. I want to make sure that I go over each and every one of them during the meeting. If it's not me that's going to be doing the presentation, I'll definitely go ahead and call on the person that's going to be doing the slide, who's going to be presenting the slide, right? I've actually worked in a team that's been the business analyst, so verify to see who's going to be presenting, doing their sprint review, so that way you make sure that they have everything ready for the meeting. So once you're done going over all the slide, or once you're done going over the slide for the sprint, the overall status of the sprint, the next thing you want to do now, you want to call each and every one of the team member that's going to be doing the demo, right? So you call on the first person, hey, can you go ahead, just give us an overview of what you worked on and what you're going to be demoing. So the person is going to come on join, it's going to share the screen, going to give a high level of what he worked on, right? And then he's going to now do a live demonstration of all the completed functionality to the business, the entire team, right? And then now, once he's done, you're going to ask them for feedback. You're going to ask the business for feedback. It's really important to ask for feedback because we want to make sure that if there's anything that was presented to the business during the demo, if it doesn't look like what they're asking the team to do, then we want to make sure that we get those feedbacks so we can make those necessary changes, so that way we can go ahead and move those stories to done. So do make sure that you always ask them for feedback. Once the first person is done doing their demo, you call on the next person to go ahead and share the screen and show the demo on what they worked on, right? So they're going to go ahead, share their screen, again, go over high level of what they worked on, and once they're done, also make sure that you are gathering feedbacks. I've actually had a really good system analyst, and also my business analyst has been very good as well. So when they're providing feedback, they usually also capture those feedbacks as well as myself. I always capture those feedback because I don't want to take chances of maybe if the business analyst didn't take the feedback, or maybe if the system analyst did not document the feedback. I want to always make sure that I have it documented. I want to capture every feedback that they're giving in the meeting, so that way after the meeting I can send out a note to the team with all the feedback that was captured. So if they have to make any changes, if they have to create new stories, if they have to make adjustment on the current story they're working on, they have all the details that they need, right? So once each and every one of my developer or my testers, my QA team, once each and every one of them are done doing their demonstration, I will go ahead again, just ask one more time if there's any other comments from anyone. If there's no comment, then I will go ahead and just thank everyone for coming, and also just give shout outs and just thank my team member for all their effort. And after that, I will go ahead and end the meeting. And that's pretty much it, guys. So that's pretty much it about my sprint review. So just communicate with your team, see how long they have been doing their meeting, and also to see how who's been the person to do the presentation during your sprint review. So thank you so much, guys, for listening to my channel. Please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And don't forget to look out for my next video, because I will be posting a lot more video for you guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you guys soon.